our fellow tour guides. And this evening, we are going to do quite a little bit different topic, but it's still about the history of Penang, but all in one place. All right, I want to mention about this new, we call it museum or gallery. Anyway, currently it's still called Penang History Gallery, and they are in the process to apply the name museum to be used, but it will take a while because nowadays it's not easy to get the title of museum. You have to go through the approval from not only from the state government but also the federal government. So hopefully they will be successful. But the important thing is the content, not so much of the title. Penang History Gallery, and you know where is it? It's actually, formerly there's one place called Gold Museum at Bishop Street, yeah, next to Public Bank. You still remember, no? We also did one, I think, fam trip there long time ago. Yeah, but it was closed down even before COVID. So now it's now been revived and then changed into a different theme. It's a gallery with a different theme, but this will be totally in a very, I would say, very different gallery or museum that we have ever seen before. Yeah, I was involved in this only last year. Yeah, I was asked to help to design some of the contents, especially on the Second World War. All right, so without further ado, let's start. All right, this, let me go into the full screen. Okay, okay. By the way, the content is actually the copyright of the Penang History Gallery. So even if you later I may share with you, but please do not forward outside. Only is confined to those who attend this CTRE. And I may like to ask some of you to help to do guiding later in this new place. All right. All right. This history gallery. Okay, let's go gallery first. Inside, there's quite a large space on the ground floor and also on the first floor. And there are different themes, and I will summarize them into 10 different themes that you can share. And for us tour guides, this is a very good place to do your guiding. Yeah, a lot of story to tell and almost cover whatever you need to tell your customers, your tourists about the history of Penang. Yeah. So I would start with this, talking about how Penang, especially Georgetown, was founded in 1786. So the first thing is on the setting up of a trading port by the British East India Company. And after that, you know why? Because when we enter this place, yeah, we have to go up the steps, and the first thing you see is actually like a theater, and you can see a lot of pictures, old pictures of Penang. So this is where you do a summary there, and followed by after that you can see shops, coffee shops lah, and then also there's a barber shop and a few other shops there. But you also be surprised to you all, you'll see a tram. Maybe we don't know, we have never experienced sitting in a tram, but they actually put a tram inside this building. Yeah, you can experience how to ride riding a tram, and it was quite a. I tried it. It's very interesting. It's really like a real tram there. And then after that, we move on to another interesting topic, the red light district of Penang. We'll talk about, some of the streets used to be, a lot of these girls working there. And we also talk about, yeah, opium, yeah, gambling. Those days were legal. We call them revenue farm. Yeah. And we also move on to the waterfront harbor. And then we also move up. They also added the floors to display more things like, there's one section where they show the famous people of Penang. Yeah. And there's also one section, number 6, Dr. Sun Yat-sen in Penang. Why they add this one? Because they're also targeting the Chinese tourists. Yeah. And number 7, yeah, we're talking about the British Empire. Yeah, you see pictures of the royalties displayed inside. And then number eight is my main focus. This is where I put in a lot of effort there. Penang during the first and the Second World War, it will cover the ground floor. So actually, you go up first, and then after that, go down to the ground level. This is how the whole museum set up. And then number nine, then after the war, we move on to independence and show some progress. And then the last one, you'll be surprised, there's like a kampong area. They designed the ground floor like a kampong. They have a attap house, they have children running around. And it's something that we were never seen before. All right, so I will move on to this one. Let me run. Okay, it's supposed to be.
China, they are side by side.
Yes, why is it?
Harmoniously.
Sound.
Clement, the voice quality is no good, I think.
During World War II. During for leaders and months, documented when houses were province in World War returned to British Gulf and independence and ended in 1957 with the revolution. Here, Chinese and became vitalized with infrastructure, recreation, and history of warfare. For the 1970s, attracted large number of tourists for junkie brochures, Frankfurt development, namely the South of the Institute, most this so-called locals detect over 2,000 towns described as a World Heritage Site by the Golden Hatch is long outlets backwards.
Okay. And I hope everybody can hear the audio. Sometimes I don't know. I can hear loudly, but if your side have some audio issue, please let
Clement,
me know.
our side having some problem. The audio totally can't hear at all.
You can't hear.
Can't hear. Is that okay?
Anyway,
You
we
can
can hear
share
the real
the
thing when
video later. Can share the video to the group
that
later.
one is actually, yes, there's a link to their Facebook lah. So this is
Okay.
actually taken from the
Probably you
Facebook
can
of
share
this
us with the
Penang
link.
history. Yeah, no,
Okay.
but you can see
Thank
the
you.
lyrics. So it's
Mhm.
talking about the how Penang Georgetown started and then how it progressed, went through the riot, the Second World War, and after that, yeah, we gained our independence, and now the Georgetown being declared as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And this is how we actually share with our tourists. Yeah, if tourists come, hey, can you tell me about Penang? How is it? What kind of history you can tell? Yeah, just share. This is this started from where, when, where, and then how this town progressed. And yeah, finally, Georgetown is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's something that we are very proud of, and the tourists also like it very much. So once you enter this is the second level. You will go up the steps. The first thing you see with this one, many old pictures of Penang. Sometimes the pictures are the one before and after. So they give you the comparison. This location, how it used to look like, and today how it looks like. So it's good to point out to the your tourists. Yeah, Penang, that road now, that road is called the Beach Street, and last time was like that, and now it's totally different. Yeah, so it's a very interesting contrast of how Penang had progressed and changed so much over the century. Yeah.
It's a full screen.
Yeah. All right. So okay, this is also a recap. Yeah, in what we can tell or show to the customers. 1786, when the British landed, yeah, it was like an island with hardly any descendants. Very few descendants there. It's not true that Penang, there's no one stay before the British came. There are already Malay fishermen. Yeah, in the I know there's like Sungai Pinang area, Batu Uban area, and even Tanjung Tokong. There were Malay fishermen villages, and also the Chinese who settled in the Tanjung Tokong area before the British arrived.
Oh, you said just
So
now.
it's only that when the British came, they set up this town called Georgetown. It's where the whole state and then the island progress. Yeah. So look at the 1798 map of Georgetown. We could see the settlement emerge. Yeah. There, as you all know, Captain Francis Drake was the one who designed and brought in a lot of people to make Georgetown a bigger port, trading port. Yeah. And you can see the town was well designed, like checkers board, right? So with all the roads, very systematically lined up. Yeah. And in the early days, we already had like Light
I
Street,
think we have the whole
uh,
screen here, the
Peach
blue color.
Street, and also, Julia Street and the Beach Street. Yeah. So these are the main streets that set up in the beginning. And outside, you could also could also see this like paddy fields. And then, and also the Fort Cornwallis. Yeah. I would say the Fort Cornwallis was the first physical structure, a proper structure that emerged on this island. Before that, there were atap houses, but if we talk about the brick and then all these solid buildings, I would say Fort Cornwallis was the first one. Yeah, right. And the population also increased within 10 years from 1786. It increased to 10,000 people in Georgetown. Yeah. That's how somebody keep drawing the red pen, something like that. Please don't. Okay, so yes, you'll be surprised. They actually put a tram inside the museum. Uh, I heard they actually order from China and then put the whole thing there. And of course, it doesn't move lah, but it's stationary and it's on the bottom, there are spring. So when you board this tram, it actually shake left and right. Yeah? And then on the wall behind, you can see there are like scenery. So it's like keep moving, keep moving. So if you sit in this tram, you actually feel that you're actually moving in front. So this is one thing that is one of the attractions coming with this museum. Right. Okay, talk about trams. Penang, we are the first and only city in Malaysia that have tram service. Yeah. And the tram service started very early. In 1880s, we already have these trams running. But those days, no electricity. So what they did, they used the horse carriages, and later steam engine to run the trams. And then electricity was introduced in the 20th century. So the trams became electric trams in 1904 and '05. Yeah. And until then, KL, Ipoh, none of the towns have this kind of tram service. So we are very proud to tell the whole country we have trams more than 100 years ago. And you can even see the track of these trams. If you walk in the Julia Street and Penang Road, you can find the track still there. So it's good that they keep that there. So actually, the picture on top is the trams that travel all the way up to Aitam. So in the early days, the tram started from Welky, yeah, and of course it will go up to Penang Road, Dato Krama Road, all the way to Aitam. And there's another one that went to Botanic Gardens. I think the British like Botanic Gardens. That's why they even have tram service to Botanic Gardens very early. And there's also another one that go up to Jelutong. So I would say those days public transport was better than today. Yeah, sad to say that those days they already have now this kind of a public good transport running on electricity, but even now we don't have it. So it's something that we have to question why the authority couldn't provide better transport now. And you can see that the tram below is electric, and there's a long like a pole that connect to the wire on top. So that keeps supplying the electricity to let this tram running. Yeah. And then all these I would say exhibits, they have this what you call like a poster stick on the wall to tell you the story and the history of these trams in three languages, in English, in Bahasa, and also in Chinese. So I would encourage if you have time to go into this museum and then look into the details. You can easily spend something like 2 to 3 hours if you want to read all these writings and then understand the story behind. Yeah, there are hundreds of these kind of posters stick next to this what I call the scenes. Yeah, right. And then, yes, you'll be surprised when you go in. You can see kedai runcit lah, you can see barber shop lah, you can see this shop selling the wooden clocks, the kakiak we call it. And another one, yeah, there are also a few other new things that are coming out. And you'll be feeling like you're going back when you're during the childhood. Yeah, you go into the kampong area to visit all these shops. But in Georgetown, long time ago, it was like that. So the whole thing is back to the 1920s and 30s. Yeah. And even something, even like 1960s. And this is old, we call it Chai Tiam Ma. Penang, we call it Chai Tiam Ma, refer to the sundry shops, Kedai Runcit. So it's a place where we get our things or the supply. Of course, nowadays we have this 7-Eleven or supermarket. Yeah. And then we even though those days the shops were smaller, but there's quite intimate lah. And you can talk to the shopkeepers, the shop owners, and then I still remember if you don't have money or you want to buy things on credit, yeah, they give you one like small notebook with a 555 written there, and you can record what you bought, and then the end of the month you come to settle. I remember my mom used to do that. Okay, sometimes say, oh yeah, I forget to bring my money out. So you say this is a small notebook. So you will record what things that she bought, and then end of month, then she would go there to settle. Yeah. So those days people have trust. You can just go to the shop and say, can I take one soy sauce? Yeah. And then, okay. And then they record down. Yeah. But now they start to say no more, this kind of trust no more. So you cannot buy things on credit unless you use your credit card. That one you still pay. Right. So Thai Jama have, they can find it. And barber shop. And yeah, they recreated this kind of barber shop like the 1950s. Yeah. And what I heard is that they're going to put a real barber inside. So you can have your hair cut inside this museum. And same for the Kedai Runcit, I heard they'll put somebody there pretending to sell things. So our barber shop is very much our local culture. Yeah. I don't know when you remember for the people like we are over 50, 60 years. You could also cut your hair on the roadside. Yeah, the barber man will come to near to your home, put a chair there, and then he opened up his like a suitcase. All the barang-barang, scissors, powder will be there. Yeah, we sit there and then cut your hair. Those days are very cheap. 1 ringgit, 2 ringgit, or no, 50 cents, I remember, long time ago. But of course, we love to go to the barber shops also, and sit on this chair, and this chair can fold and downward, and then they give you a end of the haircut. They twist your neck, Oh my dad. Okay. Then you feel very good. Ah, good. Yeah, these are the things we can describe to tourists. These are our childhood memory. Yeah, I'm sure these kind of things they will not find in their countries. But it's our local, very local experience. Having a haircut in our local barber shop. Right. Or another one is you can see the wooden clock shoes. Because Hokkien we call kakia, kakia. In the old days, every home would have this kakia, especially when you enter into the kitchen area or even toilet. Yeah, I remember last time, the toilet is very high up, and we wear this the wooden clock to go up. And one thing I like about wooden clock is like a dry, yeah, you keep your feet dry. Those days that our kitchen or the toilet area is always very wet. They always have water flushing on the ground, or in the bathroom also. So is we wear this to go in and then go up, and sometimes you can see even auntie wear this kakiak and then go out and do shopping. And yeah, this is a dying trade also lah. But this is a place that we can see, the kakiak still display, and they tell you what you can tell the people what is it used for lah. Yeah. And then some of the kakiat nowadays, we bought it because I remember Chinese wedding, they always buy this kakiat, put it on home. Must be red color, bring good luck lah. So there's still some kind of customs that we attach to these wooden clocks. Yeah, right. This is the thing. Oh, coffee shop. Yes, kopitiam. Yeah. So in this museum, they recreated a whole coffee shop inside, and you can order your kopi or inside, and they are going to serve kopi or, and I heard they also maybe nasi lemak, yeah, and then the egg, the half boiled egg there. I'm not sure whether they will come out with uh, this roti bakar lah. I'm not sure yet, but I think it may be a problem because it's air conditioned place. But definitely they're going to serve food there. So why they want people to experience our traditional kopitiam, the lifestyle there, and then those were the days that we go inside, chit chat, talk for hours, and and it's very the food is affordable and people are very friendly. They talk to one another. So this is another attraction of this place. I go back to the old style, the kopitiam. Yeah, and those days and even now kopitiams are mostly run by Hainanese and the Fuzhou people. So that's why when we look at the names of the kopitiam, we more or less to know what Chinese dialect group they belong to. Sometimes King An King, something like that, is definitely Hainanese. Yeah, because King actually in Chinese is referred to Hainan Island. Yeah. So next time we look at this King, oh, another Hainanese. Yes. In Penang, most of the coffee shops are still run by Hainanese. They are very good in cooking and also running the coffee shops. Another group would be the Fuzhou Chinese also. Yeah. And then inside, you also can find the stalls. Yeah. I like to highlight this special stall, the Teochew porridge. Yeah. And yes, Teochew porridge, in the old days, I think even now, people like for Chinese, we like it because Teochew porridge, one thing about it is it's not oily at all. Yeah. I remember when I was sick, mom will say, okay, let's go for Teochew porridge. We have this porridge that the rice is a lot of this water in this porridge. So if you don't have appetite, yeah, you eat the porridge with the salted vegetable and the other dishes. And and then one thing about the stalls, the Teochew porridge stalls, or those running in the coffee shops, they have the stool, the bench with the small stools on top. Yeah. I remember still seeing it in the magazine road, but I'm not sure it's still there or not. Yeah, last time in Penang, many this roadside uh, polish polish stores will have this kind of sitting. And the reason why if you sit there, is you feel very nice. I don't know why. And when I was small, I tried, but of course my mom said, "Get down, get down. This is only for laborers. No class on this one. Don't do it." But I like it to sit on top because you sit high above, you can see the dishes display on the table. And if you sit on a long bench, a small boy can say, "Why is uncle? Why is there? Where is there?" But you sit on top, you can see a lot of things. But in the old days, laborers like the trishaw men, they like to sit on top, yeah, and with the legs all fold up. I think in Chinese, in the culture, in those days, the laborers like to squat, yeah, to squat on the ground. So even the sit on the bench, they prefer that kind of squatting position. Actually, it's quite comfortable if you had tried it. Yeah. Unfortunately, nowadays we all sit on chairs. But once in a while, try this one. And I hope one day there will be some or two, a few shops doing this kind, so can invite the the tourists to try this kind of unique culture of sitting on the stools to enjoy the meal. Right. So this one you can share with our tourists how a lifestyle used to be, yeah, before all these modern shopping malls come out. We ate in these kind of places. Yeah. Oh, another one is the photo studios. This is a bit different. It traces back to the before the Second World War. This was actually a real reenactment of a photo studio lah, the photo shop run by Japanese. Yeah. Um, this place is called Nico Studio. I show you the next slide. Yeah, this was how it looked like Nico Studio. This was located at Penang Road. So I would say this building existed in 1920s, 1920s, and Nico Studio. And many of the old postcards of Penang were produced by Nico Studio. And same for the family photos. Yeah. If you have your great grandmother or parents' photo, most likely these photos were taken at the Nico studio. The reason why in the early days these photo studios were run by Japanese is because they have better technology. Yeah, the Japanese same as. Oh, by the way, there are also Germans who came to Penang very early. They were mainly the one who run these photo studios. And in their own country, they already have good cameras. They have the technology to develop the films. Yeah, whereas local, we still not into it yet. Yeah, so I would be to be honest with you, the good photographs actually came from the Germans and the Japanese in Penang in the early 20th century. Yeah. So the photo studios, I counted more than 4 to 5 photo studios run by Japanese in before the Second World War. Yeah. And of course, some were blamed to be spies. Yeah. Before the Second World War. How true is it? I don't know. But if you have camera, you can take anything you like. Those days, camera was very precious and very expensive. So only like photographers they would own cameras. Yeah. But why is it important? Because the old photos capture the scenes of those days. Without these photographs, a lot of the Penang history would not be properly recorded. Yeah. So that's why we are glad that the Japanese and the Germans came so early to Penang to run these photo studios. Okay, then yes, we move up to this. There's another steps going up. It's actually this. There's a step just next to the kopitiam. There's a wooden step going up. So actually upstairs they feature these prostitutes. Yeah. So they can you see the Japanese wearing kimono and a Chinese girl in cheongsam. Yeah. And it talk about the red light district in Penang in the old days. Yeah. So okay. So why Penang? There's so many prostitutes because we are the trading port. Yeah, we are the harbor. So lah, those days when sailors came to Penang, they're looking for entertainment, yeah, and recreation. So those days, not like now, we have karaoke, so many things. So the only simple way is to have drinks and then look for the girls. So there are two areas there where the prostitutes will sort of gathered. Lah. One is called Campbell Street. Yeah, Campbell Street in Hokkien is called Sin Gay. Yeah, Sin Gay. Of course, they always say "singke" means a new chicken. Chinese, I think same for Malays, yeah. Okay, ibu ayam or gay refer to the prostitutes. So there's always a nickname. You're looking for new prostitutes, you go to Singke, you can find the chicken there, or you find the girls there. So it was a place where the guys would look for these girls, the prostitute there. And it's Campbell Street was and I still think is a Cantonese area. Yeah. So those days, many of these prostitutes came from Guangdong province. Yeah, they went through either Macau or Hong Kong to reach here. So sometimes they also call this Campbell Street and Macau Street. Yeah, because so many people, especially the girls, went through Macau to travel all the way to here. And then I also want to mention Sintra Street. Yeah. And you know why? Because the Chinese call this street as Jipun Huige. Yeah. Jipun Huige means the Japanese side street. And the reason because long time ago, before the Second World War, the whole area was actually the Japanese prostitutes. Yeah. And I will share with you another slide talking about the Japanese prostitutes. There's a term we call them Karayuki-san. Yeah, Karayuki-san. So the Campbell Streets are the Chinese prostitutes. Sintra Streets is for the Japanese prostitutes. Yeah, we were surprised. A lot of Japanese, I told them, how can that be? We are such a rich people. How can we send our girls to here? No, the Japanese were very poor. Yeah, especially before the Second World War. Yeah, many of them have to travel overseas to look for a living. All right, let's go to next slide. Yes, this one maybe most of you are not aware or not very familiar. It's the topic of the Japanese prostitutes. Yeah, and what happened is that Japan for many years were under this what you call the shogun, samurai control. You call it Tokunaga, no Tokugawa. So Tokugawa shogun, and these generals, they want to lock them country Japan from outside contact. So for hundreds of years, they did not allow the people to travel out, and they also did not allow foreigners to come in. But everything changed when America sent a battle boat, a battleship to Japan. So the America forced Japan to open up their ports. So since then, the Japanese have contact with the foreigners. But of course, most of them are not very happy. But as these things happen, more and more ships also travel to Japan. Yeah. In those days, the foreigners were allowed to have a activity in small area, confined area within Japan. Same like in China also. They did not like foreigners to, set up, you know, shops in anywhere in China. Same like Japan. You cannot, a foreigner, you cannot set your shops in anywhere you like. You are restricted in certain area. So that also make Japan backward, and also the people were very poor. So what happens is that in 1880s, many Japanese, especially those in the rural areas in like Kyushu Island. Kyushu Island, if you look at the map, is located on the western side of Japan. Sorry, just western part of this Japan island, very close to Korea and very close to China. Yeah? So there are big cities like Nagasaki, Fukuoka, but the people they're very poor, very poor. Yeah, and they were fishermen or farmers. So they have no choice. Sometimes ask their daughters to go out to look for jobs. So at that time, Southeast Asia was booming. Yeah, we have tin, we have rubber, there are many rich people. So they say, hey, they are so of course, rich people they want the girls entertainment. So they besides the Chinese prostitute, they say, oh, why not? We can get other girls as good as well. So there's traffic, I call human traffickers. They started to recruit the Japanese girls to come to Southeast Asia. Yeah, thousands of them came. Unfortunately, how the girls were recruited, they were told, oh, there's some big hotels in Singapore or in Penang. They are looking for waitress. Yeah, are you interested? And if you're interested, just follow me. Yeah, and they pay some money to their parents, and then off they go. But unfortunately, a lot of them are cheated lah. So unfortunately, once they arrive here, they were told, sorry, there's no such job. Okay, next, go to that brothel. Yeah, the customers are waiting for you. So many girls were cheated like that. So it's a very sad story in the 19th century that happened to many Japanese girls. So they were called the karayuki-san, means girls who went overseas for a job. Yeah. And in Penang, there are about 100 to 200 Japanese prostitutes, quite a large number. So, you know why? They had to work hard because when these girls were brought to Southeast Asia, uh, these human traffickers will say, all right, okay, pay how much money to your parents, but these are actually borrowed land to your parents. You have to pay back. So you girls, you have to work hard to pay back all your debts. And then the ship ticket from Japan to Southeast Asia is not cheap. And then you also eat my food on the ship. You had to pay, not only according to the cost, but also double, triple. So end up the girls, when they arrive in Southeast Asia, they already owe a lot of money to these human traffickers. So the only way they have to work very, very hard for many years to pay back all the money they own to these human traffickers. So very sad. These girls were exploited. So they were ended here and there. So they work very hard just to get money to sort of pay back the debts. And of course, some of them died also. There's a Japanese cemetery in Penang, next to B. Ramlee Museum. Is that where? Jalan Sungai Pinang. Yeah, there's one road, Jalan P. Ramlee, and there's a P. Ramlee Museum, and next to it, there is the old Japanese cemetery. So yeah, many of these karaoke songs actually died and buried there. Yeah, there are about 50 to 60 tombs there. I can see the names of these young girls, very young, 16, 18, 22. I think they caught disease and then died. Anyway, these girls, they also didn't want to go back because people in Japan will look down upon them. Oh, you're a prostitute. Oh, you work there. You work in Southeast Asia as a prostitute. Nobody will marry you anymore. So some of them who went back, they also faced a lot of social discrimination. And there was one movie that came out about the story of this karaoke song. She went to Sandakan in Sabah and was made into a movie, very famous movie called Sandakan Brothel Number 8. Yeah? So anyway, back to Penang. Yes, we have so many of these karaoke songs centered around Sintra Street and Julia Street. So yeah, and only come to 1920s, then they were banned from doing this prostitution in the open streets. So men then have to go elsewhere. So anyway, in Japan, they also don't want to talk about this prostitute. For the Japanese thing, it's a very shameful thing to talk about their own girls sent overseas to be prostitutes. But it really happened. Yeah. Sometimes I'll tell my Japanese customer, yeah, Japanese very rich now and then a bit sombong so. But those days, your people have to come to Penang to work as poor Japanese prostitutes. Yeah, those days Japanese were so poor. And then yeah, they kept quiet. Oh, really? They had such a bad sad story and history in those days, right? And yeah, here I can see some pictures. On top is those young girls. They were on the ship and sent to Southeast Asia, and they were so innocent. They thought they would get good jobs, waitresses or maids in Southeast Asia, but end up many of them are just pushed into prostitution. And the postcards, this is Penang postcard. Do you notice that there's a karaoke song sitting on the left side? You know what happens? There are so many Japanese prostitutes that they become tourist attraction. Yeah, for foreigners who come to Penang. There are three things they want to see: Japanese karaoke sung prostitute. The middle one is the waterfall and the botanic gardens. And then on the right hand side is the monkey. So these are the three tourist attractions of Penang. Can you believe it? Those were the days. Yeah. And then also the postcards from Penang show you those Japanese dancing girls. They also, the girls also came here to do performance. Not necessarily had to be prostitute, but they just come to entertain the Chinese or the Japanese customers. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then the Chinese, there are more Chinese prostitute than Japanese, of course. And as the same thing, many of the girls were cheated. So some of them were released, were protected by the police. Because, as I mentioned, many were forced into prostitution. So some were rescued by the police. So they will be sent to this Bo Leong Kok, means rehabilitation shelter for the woman to be protected, and they also will be given jobs to learn. Sorry, to given training to do sewing lah, to do other things so that hopefully when they get out from this place, they could find good jobs or even marry to proper families and the men. So this actually Po Leong Ko is located at Babington, Jalan Babington. You know where is it? This I think if you have been to this famous Indian restaurant there, there's a place there near to the jail, the side, Babington Road. So those were the days. Girls were rescued and sent to this place for protection. Yeah. Yes, I want to mention this woman. She was so famous. Yeah, Rose Chan, and she was ahead of her time. Yeah. Now, of course, we would not allow this kind of striptease shows. But in the 1960s, yeah, Malaysia and Singapore was so open. We allowed the striptease uh, performance, and she's the one who make it very, very famous also. Rose Chan. Yeah, Rose Chan. Perhaps you have never uh, heard about her name, but in the 1960s and up to 70s, I'm sure your grandfather or your father would know her very well. She was, I would say, the first one who performed naked with Python. So and actually she had a very sad story. She was born in China, but when she was very small, she was sold by her parents to Kuala Lumpur. But her adopted or foster parents didn't treat her very well. So want to force her to marry some old man, something like that. But she had no choice. So she had very miserable childhood. So later she also started to work in Singapore in a cabaret, things like that, dancing. Beginning, of course, she would never like take off her clothes. It was one accident I've heard. It's mentioned in a book. Uh, she went to Ipoh, she was as usual dancing in this nightclub but nobody, all the uncle don't bother, drinking their own beer, whatever. Nobody heal her, and then she dance halfway, her bra dropped, and then all the men, wow, all get very excited, and then whistle things like that. And after that, the men started to give her money, things like that. So I said, wow, Like that. Last time none of you noticed me. Now just because my bra accidentally broken, then everybody give her money. Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. So ever since she started to do dancing, bearing her chest, just chest to the men. Of course, those days it's not officially like legal, but it's done, tolerated. And then she started to upgrade her skill, dancing with some acrobatic act. And then finally, somebody said, hey, why don't you dance with the python? And we even will attract more customers. So she tried that. I think she was very, I would say, very brave to learn new things, whether it's right or wrong, but she was very ahead of her time. Yeah. And in fact, a lot of time she is not originally been, and she was in Singapore. Yeah, a lot of times she was performing there in KL, Ipoh, but finally she settled in Penang. So she was performing the New World Park most of the time. Yeah, and they can see newspaper advertisement about her. And but as she grew older, not so attractive anymore. She had one like a bar or nightclub at this Transfer Road, where this Gallant Hotel is located. So finally, she got sickness. She had cancer and she died. Yeah, she was buried in the Aitam, one of the temples. But why we are talking about her, not because she performed sexy dance, but she was a very kind-hearted person. She earned money. She also donated a lot of money to charity, especially to the schools. That's why a lot of people call her Charity Queen. Yeah, and even though she had many failed marriages, she divorced many times. But when it comes to charity, uh, she will be very generous. So sometimes we have to look at people like her, understand her from this humane viewpoint, rather than laughing. She just a striptease, but she had a kind heart. So people, when we talk about this famous people, we have to look at the more humane side, not like making fun of her all the time. Right. So you can see one section about her. I think this is the only place in whole Malaysia where we put her pictures. Last time they did one exhibition on Rostan in KL. Immediately the police came and then banned them, asked them to take it down. So in this exhibition, they have to be very careful. They cannot show the bare breast. Yeah. So this is also some control over there. Yeah. And then there's one section talk about gambling and then opium. Yeah. Gambling and opium. Why was legal? Because they pay a lot of tax to the British government. So the British encouraged the Chinese, especially, to smoke opium and also to gamble. And to sell opium or to open this gambling den, you need to get license. And this license is not cheap. It's not cheap at all. So uh, who is drawing this red line? Sorry. Mr. Tay, is it? Who is that? Yeah, okay, please don't. Okay, there has one licensing officer at the Star building. I'll show you next one. This is the place. Yeah, this is the place that where you have to get your license to run opium den or the gambling center. Yeah, and the license is very expensive, very expensive. Yeah, and only the rich tauke, they will get the license from there, and from there they run this opium, the shop selling opium, or so opium now like casino lah. So this is how the British got the money from us. Don't be innocent to think that the British come to Malaya just to get a tin and rubber. No, a lot of money, more than 40% of the tax actually came from opium selling. Yeah. And then this is something we have to, remind of us how the colonial government treated us, how they got the money from. It's from gambling. Yeah. So this kind of money, they call it revenue funds. Revenue funds. Okay, just hold on for a while. Let me off it and on again to remove all this. Sorry. Okay, let me do again.
Clement, could you not take control, stop other people from handling anything? Admin can do that.
Yeah, let me. Yeah. There's one button. I don't know how to set, but I'm.
Clement, can you hear me?
Yes.
You go to your left, to the screen, the left bottom corner. I think you can see a pencil. Then you click that. You tap the eraser button and erase the red line.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay,
Or
let me go back.
Mr. Tay
Let me
can
go
do it
back.
at his side. Those who
Yeah,
do
because
it,
I'm
yeah.
because I'm no longer the host. I'm being put as a
You
co-host.
hold on, you
Okay.
hold on. I'm trying. Can you
Yeah,
share the
I'm
slide again? Don't worry, I will do it at
okay. I
at my
actually
end.
just open that slide.
Just need some time. Please continue first.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, much better. Okay, back again, and then let me share this. Wait a minute. Where is my string? Okay, let me hold on. Okay, get back to the screen again. All right. Okay. So this is what I call revenue farm in China called xiangma. Okay. I think those who can read Chinese, I say, what is xiangma? Xiangma actually means getting the license from the colonial government to sell opium and to run this gambling den. Okay, revenue farm. Yeah. So remember, you always see this word. Then a lot of people, what is revenue? Revenue. It's not from tin or rubber. It's from this gambling and opium. Right. So next time you do commentary, let me tell you, the British encourage us to smoke opium and then to gamble so that they get more money. Yeah. All right. So this is the center where they issue the license. Is at this opposite this Guan Yin temple. This building. Okay, next we move on to something. This is also we from the second floor. There's a staircase go up, and you see this fighting scene. They trying to reenact this scene of the riot. We call it 1867 Penang riot, where the Gihin and the Topekong society, together with the red flag and the white flag, they're all fighting. Yeah. I know they always say, oh, Gihin and Haisan fighting, but Penang, Haisan was not powerful. But in Taiping, yes, Gihin were fighting with the Haisan. But in Penang, it was the Gihin fighting with the Topekong society. There's another name for the Topekong society called Kian Tek Tong. Kian Tek Tong. The head office is actually at the inside the temple at the corner of Armenian Street. There's one Topekong temple. So let's talk about this 1867 big riot. Yeah. And what it is, it's talk about, they call it, okay, let me recap. Because I know it's very complicated. Talk Gihin, Haisan, Topekong, what is Bendera Putih, what is Bendera Merah. So in the 19th century, most of people were poor, so they always have this gang. I won't say gangster, because gangster always sounds very negative. Because these kind of groups, or you call it gang, help their own people. Yeah, like Gihin, Gihin, in a lot of time they were doing charity. They run hospitals. Our general hospital in Penang, actually, the land was donated by the Gihin also. So those days, they were the groups, like an association, to help their members. Yeah. to look for jobs or to get them a cure, things like that lah. So in Penang, we have the Muslim side lah, the white flag and the red flag. And the white flags mostly will be there's a Jawi Pekan lah. So they're mixed between Indian and also the Malay. And the red flag will be more like the Malays, some like Lebo Aceh, the side, yeah, they were like the red flag. And Masjid Kapitan, no, okay, Masjid Kapitan Kling actually aligned with the white flag, whereas Masjid Lebo Aceh aligned with the red flag. Okay, just make it very simple like that. And then Gihin, the members were mostly Cantonese and also Teochew, but there are also some Hakka inside there. But anyway, Gihin, very few Hokkien, mostly non-Hokkiens in the Gihin. Yeah, all right. So another big group is actually the Hokkien group. So they are actually we call Topengkong Society because the headquarters is inside the Topengkong Temple at this corner of Armenian Street. But officially they have the name, the Kian Tek Tong. Yeah, Kian Tek Tong. So because Kian Tek Tong very close to the Masjid Lebo Aceh. So the red flag and the Kente Tong, they were alliance. They're like good friends from alliance. Whereas on the other hand, the Gihin were closer to the Jawi Peranakan, Jawi Pekan. So they form another group. So these two groups, from the beginning, they also couldn't get along. Always like that, gangs and gangs because of conflict of interest. And then why Haisan is not a big group in Penang? Because Haisan is normally in Perak or Selangor is dominated by the Hakka Chinese. Yeah, but Penang Hakka is a very small group, very small group. So they have no power to fight. Don't have enough people. So end up Haisan will team up with the Kian Tek Tong, the Hokkien, and then they'll fight against the Gihina. In Perak and Selangor and Gihin and Haisan were dead enemies because they were fighting to control the tin mines. Yeah, especially in Taiping, with Gihin Haisan fighting. Yeah. But in Penang, of course, these two groups also couldn't get along lah. But smart, or the big boss of the Haisan managed to team up with the Kedet Tong to fight them. All right. So how it started, right? There's a story about the rambutan. It's just a small incident, the one I think this what the white flag lah. Throw rambutan or hit the other one. Yeah. So there are a lot of different versions, but it was started say one guy accidentally threw rambutan skin to another guy, and then it happened to be a different gang. Yeah. So it started to fight. You throw rambutan, you are insulting me. So later he brought his own members kind of fight. So this is how the whole thing started. Yeah, fight until the British also very angry, had to send all their police to close. But for 10 days, they're fighting like hell. Hundreds of gangsters were killed on both sides. And somehow they even get their help from other cities as far as Phuket. Yeah, the Gim they have to pull their members from Phuket, from other parts of Malaya to come to help in this fighting. So this is how a small incident like that grew to be a big conflict. It's not a fight between Malay Chinese, no. It's actually Chinese against Chinese, Malay Muslim against Muslim, and then one side decided to team up the other side. Yeah. So it's very interesting in those days. It's not a racial riot, it's a gang fighting. So yeah, later there was after the British managed to stop this fighting, they also set an inquiry tribunal, and then this is how they record and they say a Malay threw a rambutan at the Chinaman and called him thief. The Chinaman and came up with another 10 or 12 Topekong friends. And then the Malay went to look for the Gihin friend to come and fight. So after that, this whole thing very messy. Don't know who is killing what. So this is how the whole riot started. And it only get worse until the British had to recruit all the Europeans in town to come to stop this riot. Yeah. They even brought this cannon into what we call today the Cannon Street. And then fire this warning shots. Hopefully to stop the riot, but it didn't really work out. So finally the whole riot ceases off, and then the British also caught those leaders, questioning them, and some were sent to jail, some were even sentenced to death, but later the British did not dare to go ahead with the execution, so they were released, including uh, this Chong King Kui actually was sentenced to death, but British felt that he's still a leader, so he was released and then made into a prominent person in at that time. Yeah. So Penang riot is a story that it's good to look at. That's a story that we can share with our visitors, how it finally settle. So what's the repercussion? A lot of things. First thing, the Societies Act was introduced, and all the gangs were banned by the British. So the British come out laws that any gathering of more than 10 people, you must register yourself as a society. So this is how our Societies Act came about. Because that last time no act, anyone can form a gang, so it causing the unrest in our social problem. So this is in Cannon Street. You can see this mural art. A cannon was shot, fired. They always say that one cannon shot hit the minaret of this Lebo Aceh mosque and caused a hole there. But I think this is just a rumor. Because you see the minaret, there's a hole in the center. They say the cannon went through. But I think the whole minaret will collapse. But anyway, it's a very nice story. They describe the fighting, 1867. You see, now we are in Cannon Street before we turn into the Kru Kongsi. Last time, there's so many gangsters here. They were fighting, hiding here, hiding there. And then so one cannon shot flew and then hit the tower, but it didn't collapse. So the cannon make a big hole into that tower minaret. Yeah, story to tell the tourists. Whether it's true or not, but it's such all the legends that Penang has. So after that, as I say, yeah, the Societies Act came about, and the British also forced all these gang leaders to come to the peace term, and they were fined heavily. Yeah, each one of them, they were forced to sell their property. So, for example, the Gihin headquarters, where was it? It's actually at the Lebo Gereja, where now we have this Penang Peranakan mansion located. It was the headquarters of the Gihin. Yeah? So the British forced the Gihin to sell the property, and end up what happened? Chong King Kui of this Haisan bought over. Yeah, bought over, and the first thing he did, he demolished the headquarters of this Gihin building and built his own building that now we see. The building now is the Penang Rakam mansion. And in this house, you don't like your rival, you bought over the property, destroy it, build your headquarters on top. It's like a revenge. Yeah. Right. Okay, now I want to move on to this is also on the level 2. So if you go inside, the scene change into the harbor scene. Swettenham Pier, the Clement jetties, the port, the godangs, everything. So the first section that we are talking about, the Hajj pilgrimage. Penang was a very important center where the Hajj, Haji started the journey. Yeah, those days there's no aeroplane. You want to go to Mecca, you take ship, go to a port called Jeddah. Jeddah is very close to Mecca. From there, and then you start the journey to fulfill your pilgrimage wish. So Penang was a very important place. All these Muslims they started their journey. Where will be the center is Lebo Aceh. Yeah, Lebo Aceh in the old days, there were many this kind of shops or agents handling the tickets, also preparation for the Muslim to travel to Jeddah. So that's why at the time Penang was called the second Jeddah. Yeah, second Jeddah. And there were agents. They have a name, Sheikh Haji. Yes, those days Tabung Haji did not exist yet. So if any Muslim want to make this journey, they will go through these agents, Sheikh Haji. And then they also have this what Tong Sahara, where all the barang-barang is kept in the big, like a cabinet, a big trunket. And because when they travel, those days it's not like 1 week. It talk about months to reach from Penang to Jeddah, because along the way they have to stop like in Colombo, they have to stop in various small ports or big ports before they finally reach Jeddah. So it's a journey that took many days. Sometimes you say it's about 1 month or something like that. So on the journey, they have to prepare themselves. So all your belonging, your dress, everything they have, you all put in a big, big suitcase, but it's made of wooden chest. So it's very interesting, where the Penang became a center for a kind of, pilgrims together. So we are not talking just the Muslim from northern Malaya, those things. We're also talking about the Muslim from southern Thailand, from Sumatra. They all came to Penang to catch the ship to Jeddah. Yeah, there are a lot of things I can read on the wall and give you a lot of good details. In fact, I feel that next time, if there are any tour guides, new ones, want to learn the history of Penang, this is a very good place to pick up all the knowledge. And this is you can look at it and learn at the same time. Yeah. Okay, come to the Swettenham Pier. This was a very important port, and still, yes, nowadays used for cruise ships. But the old days, all the cargoes, passengers will come to the Swettenham port. And then another thing that you can find a lot along this coast area will be the go down, or in Malay we call it gudang. Yeah, gudang. There are many, many along the Penang seashore, especially like Welky, Victoria Street, even Beach Street. Yeah. In fact, there's a once whole section where you can find the old go downs. They're now turning into pubs and drinking place. So if you go to Lebo Pantai, there's one bank called Alliance Bank. Is it? And then on the side, there's a small lane. But once you go in, there are at least some that 10 big gudang there. Yeah. Some of them turn into a bar, I think, for drinking. Some turn into like event hall. And yesterday I just passed by. They even had some Japanese sushi restaurant there. Yeah? And it's quite exciting. The lane going in is very narrow, but once you go in, it's a big, huge space. And there's no road, but it's like a path all made of granite stones. So it's like, 200 years ago, everything was just on granite stone, and look at old buildings. And this is a part of the Georgetown that a lot of people miss out. It's fun to walk in that kind of back lane and you see all the go downs there. So this is and one thing about this new museum, there are a lot of videos, motion videos inside there. And these are AI constructed. For example, here you can see this go down run by a European called Gutenberg. So they are actually old photos. Those photos, we don't have video or film, So they put it into AI, and then the people inside the photo started to walk in the street. And they also added the color there. So this is a new technology they use to animate, we call animation on the people that appear in the old pictures. So you'll be surprised, something like 150 years ago, and they all started to walk in the street. Yeah. And this is something that I think you don't see in other places yet. So they good at they use this new technology to reenact or to show people, yeah, how life used to be. Yeah. In the more showed it in the more interesting way. Yeah? The people started to move in the streets 100 years ago. Yeah. Another thing that we have is actually the what you call the quarantine center, Pulau Jerejak. Yeah. Pulau Jerejak, I bet some of the people in Penang also never been there. But anyway, you go there, nothing, you say nothing to see. Last time there's one resort also tak jadi lah. Everything didn't work out. And now the resort is closed already. But it was a very interesting place because in the old days, the British used it as a quarantine center. You see, in the old days, when the immigrants or either workers or want to come to settle in Penang, they have to be quarantined in this island for at least a few days, so that they will not bring disease into Penang or into Malaya. So they will be staying there for a few days, and there will be British health officers checking on them. So they will measure their height, and then also ask them to open their teeth and their mouth. Usually sick people, you ask them to open their mouth, it must be very quite smelly thing come out of the mouth, or you look at the teeth or all rotting, things like that. So let's say if you're not in good health, you'll be rejected. You're not allowed to come to Penang Island. So Jereja Island was used as a quarantine center for quite a long while. And yeah, this is now the old photos show you that, yeah, how it used to look like. So now they have put in the big pictures with the mannequin there. So another thing that you can do in this museum is to take photos with those mannequin. So this is what we call you are in the picture. Yeah. Tourists, they love this kind of we are part of the history. So they will stand there, sit there, pretending, talking to the officers or checking on these immigrants. So when you bring tourists to these kind of places, try to suggest to them how they should take photos. You can tell, why don't you sit next to the British officers, or you pretend as the immigrant worker, you open up your mouth, let the doctor check your mouth, something like that. So this is why we encourage people to walk in, bring them, see along, and be part of the story. Yeah. And then there's also one section on the clan jetties. Yeah, clan jetties is very unique to Penang, because you can't find such unique place, water village, anywhere else in the world where one village is dominated, water village is dominated by one surname. There are now 7 jetties. The Ong, Ling, Chu, Tan, Li. There's one we call new jetty. It's all mixed. And then the last one is Yo. Only 7 left. But in the old days, there are more than 10 in Penang, but one by one, they were destroyed. So luckily, the remaining 7 are all located within the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So they are now safe. And now tourists love to go this place. So it's something they can share with them the story and the history of the clan jetties. The clan jetties are not fishermen jetties. Every time I was so shocked when I'm there, I hear our tour guides, oh, last time there are a lot of fishermen come here and then they stay in these wooden houses and they catch fish. Wrong. It's not a fishing village. These people stay there. They were working as a harbor transport laborers. Yeah, they were carrying the goods from the ship to the godows. Yeah, so that's why in the early days there are long bridges like jetty to reach out the boats so that they can during the low tide They can carry the cargo or the ships all the way to the go down. So don't keep making mistakes, saying, oh, they catch fish now, no more fish. Now they sell souvenirs. Not true. I know those from KL, they always, oh, fisherman village. No, no, it's not. It's a laborers village. All right. Of course, some of the village, they were selling charcoal in those days. Uh, but now you can't see these activities anymore. But tell people how they started, the clan jetties. And another section that is you have to go up. I quite level 3 lah. You go up the stairs, you can see very interesting. All these big pictures are the famous people of Penang. Yeah. Can you recognize the first one is actually P. Ramlee? Yeah. The second one is this Tengku Sheikh Aidit. He was the one who started this Level Aceh Mosque. Yeah. And the third one, I think most of you do not know. He was from Sri Lanka, but he also became the editor of the Echo newspaper. Why he was important? He was the one during the Second World War formed this committee to help the people. Yeah, his name is Sarawabudi. Yeah, let me see this like okay, this one actually is can move on. Let's see. Like Harry Potter, right? I didn't know actually when that thing is moving, I was a shock. They actually all can move on. It's all AI simulated. And then there are 10 of them. Francis Light, Abdul Rahman, Lim Chong Yu, yeah. James Logan, the famous lawyer, is Gutenberg. And then this is a Cosy B. And the last one is Dr. William Taylor. These are the people that have great influence on our event. Quite interesting. Some technology that I never knew really could be done actually. You just put it over top and then the whole team will come up talking, moving, and shaking their heads like that. Yeah. So there are 10 of them. So the Francis Light can talk also. Very, very interesting. And Tongua drama, yeah. He will speak in Malay, yeah. Lim Chong Yu, yes. James Logan, we have Logan Memorial. He was a famous lawyer who defended a lot of local people. Gutenberg, he's a German who came to Penang in 19th century, and he was the one who set up this lamppost. The first lamppost in Malaysia was actually from him. And then Kosimbi, Kosimbi? There's one Jalan Kosimbi. You know who is he? He was the one who he was of course a rich guy in Penang, but he was the one who was uh trees. He was the one who got us is still in Penang, yeah. The Phuket and many other southern provinces in Thailand, the Kaur Simbi family was very prominent. They all became governors in southern Thailand, the Kaur family. Yeah. And then Dr. Wulente, I think all of you must know, especially from Penang, he was the inventor of the mask. So during COVID time, everybody started to learn about Dr. Wulente. Yeah. But of course, he was in China for a long time. He saved a lot of life there. So last month we have a talk. Managed to invite this Dr. Zhong Nan San, and then also Noor Hisham. Two of them came to Penang, and then they were here to receive the prize of the Dr. William Day Leadership Prize. And this Zhong Nan San, I was talking to him, he was so happy that he finally came to the hometown of Dr. William Day. He said Dr. William Day was his inspiration. Yeah, during the COVID time, China was having such a hard time, and a lot of people didn't know what to do. So this Dr. Chung Dan San saying he recalled how our Dr. William Day saved lives by forcing people to wear masks. That was in 1910, more than 100 years ago. And then Dr. William Day also suggested isolation of the sick people from the healthy people. That's why we have this quarantine, all this during COVID time. All already started by Dr. William Day in the 1910. So China got the inspiration from him to do the same thing during the COVID time. Yeah. So finally, COVID was controlled through all these effective measures done by Dr. William Day in China. That's why in China, Dr. William is a big, big name. A lot of people know him. But sad to say, in Malaysia, maybe half, or maybe 60% have heard about him or don't know what is he doing, why is he famous. Yes, in China, it's a big name. Yeah. So if you have tourists from China, it's always good to introduce our Dr. William Day, who saved your lives in China, actually came from Penang. A very smart guy. He studied in the free school, won the scholarship, and so forth. So good to read up. So you want to learn more about the history, the background of these 10 prominent people. There are story and written right in front of these portraits. All the portraits can move and talk to you. Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, these are 10 names. P. Ramlee, you know, P. Ramlee, famous singer. Tunku Sheikh Hussein Aidid, the one who set up this mosque and also the kampong at the Lebuh Aceh. And then the third one is Manika Solti Sarawana Mutu. He was a hero during the Japanese occupation. Yeah. And then Captain Francis Lai, you should know his story. Tunku Abdul Rahman, yes, very famous. Dr. Lim Chong Yu, yeah, who actually did a lot for the development of Penang. He was the one who get all these electronic factories to Penang to invest. James Logan, yes, this is also a big story that you can share with the tourists. How a Scottish lawyer came to Penang, fought very hard against the authority to stop discrimination. Yeah. And he is also the guy who invented the name Indonesia. Yeah. Because he went to Indonesia and say, why call it Dutch East Indies? It should be Indonesia. There's a Hindu influence there. So that country, Indonesia, the name actually, yeah, was first thought of by this James Logan. August Gutenberg is industrialist. You should read up more about him because in the 19th century, in Penang, he did a lot of things. Yeah, there's one signboard at the corner of Lebuh Pantai and Lebuh Gereja. As we call it German Heritage Trail. He came from Germany. Yeah, he was the one who came out the idea of having a lamp post using kerosene, petroleum. Those say no electricity. So in 1870s, Penang, we already have a lamp post, lamp lights come out at night. Kosimbi, as I mentioned, a big name that built this industry, rubber industry, and tin, tin mining is a big name in tin mining in southern Thailand. And also our eastern smelting, tin smelting, very big factory at Dato Kramat Road. Actually, Kosimbi was one of the biggest shareholders. And Dr. William Day, as I mentioned, go and read about him. So these are the people, when you do your commentary in town, you can keep telling who they are and how they contributed to the development of not only in Penang, but other countries as well. Right, these are the signboards. I won't go through because a lot of details there. Yeah. Okay. Another section, after you cross over the Hall of Fame, you come into a chamber, a small room where they trying to reenact the place, the small room that Dr. Sun Yat-sen stayed. Dr. Sun Yat-sen came to Penang 5 times. 5 times. There are a lot, no. In fact, other cities, they don't have so many visits by Dr. Sun Yat-sen. Penang, of course, is a trading port. So he always, whether he went to Europe from China, he would stop in Penang. Yeah. But he also stayed one time more than 4 months in Penang because why this guy keep coming to Penang and Southeast Asia? He wanted to raise fund. Yeah, he was a revolutionist, a revolutionary. He wanted to overthrow the Qing dynasty Manchus. In those days, the Manchus are very bad. They treated the Chinese very badly, and then the Manchu Qing dynasty was very backward because the emperor was corrupted. The governments, couldn't help the people even to have proper, the food. So a lot of people. That's why a lot of Chinese migrated to Southeast Asia because the Qing dynasty is hopeless already. People have to survive. They have to travel out from China. So it was this Dr. Sun Yat-sen who wanted to overthrow this Qing dynasty. So in order to get the money, you have to come to Southeast Asia and to get the fundraising from those Chinese who stay in Southeast Asia. And as I mentioned, he came to Penang, many times because he got a lot of supporters here in Penang. So he was a few places that we identify where he used to stay, and he also had many followers. Yeah, many of them are actually rich people, but they donated money very generously to him so that he could buy some weapons to overthrow the Qing dynasty. But to be honest, none of his revolution in China succeeded. He tried 10 times, all failed. And finally, what happened is in 1911, there was one revolution not related to him in a city called Wuhan, where the COVID also happened. And the soldiers sort of uprising, and then they managed to defeat the Qing dynasty army. So one by one, the cities fell to the revolutionaries. So finally, our Dr. Sun Yat-sen was invited back from China. No, he was in America. He was invited to come back to China to set up a new republic in 1912. So he became the first president of the Republic of China. Anyway, he always remember the people of Penang who helped him so much. And some of the revolutions in China, actually those martyrs came from Penang. There are four of them actually that helped Dr. Sun Yat-sen to fight, but they all died. Very sad. And also, we also talk of the romance of this Dr. Sun Yat-sen. He had many girlfriends and wives. Those days, heroes always have many girls. So he also a man, yeah. So we knew there are five women that, surrounding his life. The first wife on the left side, you see the first wife. But the first wife was arranged marriage. So after that, he came to Southeast Asia. He came to Penang. He had a girlfriend. Her name is Chen Cui-fen. Yeah, there's a movie that make about her story with Dr. Sun Yat-sen. Very interesting story. Yeah. After that, yeah, Dr. Sun Yat-sen also went to Japan. Yeah, he had one girlfriend, and he also had one girl that finally got her pregnant. But she was very young, so officially they didn't get married. And then the last woman is called Song Qingling. The Song sisters are also very famous in China. And the only thing is that the Song Qingling's father is a Christian pastor. So he told Dr. Sun Yat-sen, you want to marry my daughter, you cannot have other women. You have to divorce them or separate from them. So Dr. Sun Yat-sen, he had no choice but to divorce the first wife and to marry this Song Qingling. So anyway, yeah, Dr. Sun is how to say Casanova or whatever. But anyway, in China, people don't want to talk so much about it. They say no good for his image. But this is the truth. Yeah, he has lovers here and there. So why not just talk about his love life? No harm to talk about it. So if you have Chinese tourists or tourists from Taiwan, you can tell them about this story. Huh? A girlfriend in Penang. Yes. Most of the Chinese didn't know about this story. So it's good to tell, oh, okay, Penang, we have special story to tell you. Your Dr. Sun Yat-sen, yeah? They call it the father of China, modern China. Actually have a girlfriend here too. Yeah. Okay, and then there's one follower called Goh Se-ing. He was so, how to say, so dedicated. He sold his house. You know where the house is? This huge building at this Jalan Sultan Ahmad Shah, next to the cemetery, Christian cemetery. Now collapsed already. Actually was his wife. His wife was a daughter of a millionaire. And then after that, this Gao Seng wanted to support Dr. Sun Yat-sen. Dr. Sun Yat-sen came, oh, yes, I will support you. You need money, I'll do everything to give you money. And he sold the whole bungalow house to raise fund to help Dr. Sun Yat-sen. Yeah. Unfortunately, later he became poor. Very sad story, but you know how dedicated this God saying to our this revolution caused by Dr. Sun Yat-sen. Yeah, there are many people like that. Yeah, they very supportive of the to to do reforms, all this. Okay, there's another chamber or the room to show a scene where this Captain Francis Light was meeting this Capitan China Ko Lei Huan. Yeah. So what happens is that when Francis Light landed in Penang in 1786, he also needed help to develop Georgetown. Yeah. Those days he had to get laborers, and then he actually sought the help of the Ko Lei Huan. Ko Lei Huan at the time was in Kedah. So Ko Lei Huan came. He brought 500 laborers to come to Georgetown. They help Francis Light to chop the trees, to build roads, things like that. So that's why the Captain Francis Light was very grateful to this Ko Lei Huan. So he also made Ko Lei Huan as the only Capitan China of Penang, Ko Lei Huan. And yeah, and then there's a story, and what happens, Ko Lei Huan gives something to Francis Light, fish net. Yeah. You know why? Fish net in Hokkien term, hu bang. Yeah. It sounds like the word he bang, means hope. So he was giving this fish net to uh, Francis Light to hope that there'll be a lot of the big hope to develop Penang Island. And it's true because of their efforts. Penang grew leaps and bounds and become a very important trading port. So this Capitan China Ko Lei Huan had a big family, and some of his descendants are very prominent. And there's Siang Tak Road Siang Tek, all these are all his descendants. There's one water fountain, Ko Siang Tak. Ko Siang Tak is a great grandson. Yeah, he's a very famous lawyer. And then another great great grandson is Ku Hongming. In China, everyone knows about Ku Hongming. He's a great scholar. Yeah, famous in this Confucianism. He was born in Penang, very smart guy. He studied things very fast. He was actually become the adopted son of the son of David Brown. Yeah, so he was brought up in the David Brown family, and Mr. Brown sent him to Scotland to study, and he picked up many languages in Europe, and finally after he came back to Asia, he went to China. I think that time he couldn't read Chinese at all because from young he was sent to free school, and from free school he went straight to UK to study. But he could read other European languages like German, Latin, Greek, whatever, except Chinese. So finally he came back. He went to China, and he also picked up Chinese very fast. And he's specializing in translating the Confucianism writings into European languages. So he was the one who introduced Confucianism to Europe. through his translated works. Yeah. In Germany, he was very famous. So in Europe, most of the universities, they have like Oriental Study Department. Ku Hongming will be mentioned. Yeah. And China also, he was in this Beijing University, as a Chinese scholar. But he was a bit stubborn. Even after the Qing dynasty that collapsed, he refused to cut his this what you call like a pigtail. He still keep it. Yeah. And people say he is very straight. So what? This is our Chinese custom. We keep it. And he also defended why Chinese married so many wives. Say, just like a kettle pot, teapot must have many, many cups. So the man is like a teapot. So the wives are like the teacups, serving all these cups. That's why, because the Europeans were laughing. Wow, Chinese marry so many wives on concubines. I say, well, nothing wrong. Go back your home, you look at the teapot and the teacups, and you understand why Chinese also had to marry so many wives. And the Europeans say, wow, true. He always defend the Chinese customs. Yeah. Okay, another section you go when you want to go downstairs, come to a corridor and also the staircase where all the pictures of the royal kings and queens of UK will be displayed, big portraits. There are 9 kings and queens that rule Penang. Yeah. The first one, of course, is King George III. Is where Georgetown named after. After that, we have King George IV, King William IV, Queen Victoria. Of course, King Victoria was the most famous and the longest. And then there's after Queen Victoria is King Edward VII, followed by King George V, King Edward VII, sorry, eight. And then we have King George VI until Queen Elizabeth II. Yeah. So after that, of course, Penang became independent in 1957. So our last British monarch is Queen Elizabeth II. But thanks to her, she declared Georgetown as a city on the 1st of January 1957. So Georgetown is the first city in Malaysia, ahead of Kuala Lumpur. Yeah, Kuala Lumpur only declared as a city in 1972. But Georgetown, 1957, we are already a city. Yeah. So whether you like it or not, though this British influence in Penang are very strong, even until today, the British influence in Penang. Many of us still speak English, attended missionary school, things like that. Penang Free School, top schools, all these. These are the British legacy in our island. So don't just condemn British all the time. Sometimes you think, wow, those days, why our ancestors are always admiring the British? Because they actually brought in a lot of, reforms. Yeah, we have very good police station. The first police station in Malaysia was also in Penang. 1807, there's already a police station. Yeah, many, many firsts. Malaysia all started in Penang. First English school, Penang Free School, and even the first street lamp also in Penang. So I always ask, the friends in Taipei, hey, we had what 33 first in Malaysia. I say cannot be true. How can you say the first English school is in Taiping? No such thing lah. Hey, do you know there's a called Penang Free School? 1816, we already have a English school. Taiping, where got? Oh, they say, oh no, we are talking about this on those federated Malay state lah, of course lah. Federal Malay state only got four or 5 states. You have to include Penang. Once Penang in, Taiping has no no comparison. Yeah. So that's why every time I look at how come Taiping has 33 first. Cannot be true lah. But there's some also true lah. They had the first museum in Malaysia. That was true lah. But not English school lah. Not all these all the other things. Yeah. Okay, so remember there are 9 British kings and queens that rule Penang. You can see the big portraits when you go. This is one of the scenes that Sometimes I still not very fully satisfied with the display, but I think they will improve later. So when you go downstairs, all the kings and queens will be like looking at you going downstairs. Yeah. And then actually, this one blocked by the chandelier is a picture of Queen Victoria. And this Queen Victoria picture is moving all the time. She's shaking her head fanning herself and then say hello, hello, waving her hand. So very interesting. It's animated Queen Victoria. And always think just like Harry Potter. You walk into the castle, you see people smiling at you, talking to you, like that. Yeah. And then next coming to the war scene already. So this going downstairs. So they trying to show the house bombed by the Japanese. Children crying there are smoke here and there So these are the bombing of Penang. But before that, there's a one section on the World War One. So Penang is the only place in Asia where World War One happened. Yeah, because no thanks to the German, the warship SMS Emden came in 1914 and sank this Russian warship called Zemchuk and also French cruiser called Busquet. So there's this episode that make Penang into the scene of the place of the First World War. I think whole Southeast Asia, this is the only place. Maybe even the Far East, because other places they don't have First World War, but only Penang. So anyway, every year they're so commemorate. You know why our war Memorial Day is always on the First World War? Yeah, and because the First World War ended in 11 November 1918. Yeah, so every year we have a war memorial service on the 11th of November. It is actually end of the First World War. Actually, it's all because of Penang. Yeah, we have this war that we remember the end of the war, of First World War. So our war cenotaph or the memorial at the Esplanade, you can see 1914 to 1918. All right. And this is the Captain Formula. A lot of story about this smart guy. Yeah. He was made a national hero in Germany. Yeah. And then the story of how the German sneak into Penang port and managed to sink these two, this Russian and the French warship. There's a lot of story there. So when next time you go to Esplanade, I can tell the story of the First World War in Penang. Yeah. You tell people in KL, you don't have First World War, only Penang got, no. They're very jealous. You have so many stories to tell. That's why in Penang, if you cannot tell story, you have a big problem, no. Because there's so many things to say. As a tourist guide of Penang, we have advantage. All these things happen in our town. You must know better than those tourist guide from KL or Johor or whatever. We have the advantage. So you need to learn all these, by heart. Because when you go out, you walk in the street, you can start telling so many stories. Or this type, last time what happened? Or you look at the Esplanade, the sea in front, there's a floating red color, they call it buoy. Actually marked the location where the Russian warship Zemchuk sank. It sank there. So after that, they removed this wreckage. But there's a floating red color buoy in the middle of the sea to mark the location. So you can point out, wow, you know that? The Russian warship sank there. And then you know what happened to the captain? He was alive. You know why? He was not on the ship. He was sleeping with a woman in the E&O hotel. So there's some interesting story you can share with the customers. Okay, then we have memorial. This one, the anchor is actually last time in the Penang State Museum, and now they moved to McAllister Road, the art gallery. I hope they will bring back. And then below that is the memorial of the French warship. This one is in front of the Catholic Church, Assumption Church at Farquhar Street. So this is a story they can tell tourists. Then, okay, Second World War. This is a big thing. A lot of story to tell, but I don't think I have enough time. We want to talk and talk 4 or 5 hours on that. But okay, Penang was attacked. Yeah. So after this Pearl Harbor, Hawaii was bombed, Kota Baro was bombed. Actually, the same day, the Japanese also came to bomb Penang, but not the city. They bombed the Bayan Lepas. At the time, it's not the airport, they call it airfield. It was bombed, and then after that, next day, they also bombed the Butterworth, the airfield. So the people in Georgetown say, don't worry, lah, nothing will happen to us. They only bombed the airfield. But unfortunately, the third day, so many Japanese bombers flew from Vietnam, and then they throw the bombs in Penang, Georgetown. So this is the big, sad story of what happened in Penang during the Second World War. So these are pictures that actually taken by a Japanese fighter pilot. He put a camera, like a video camera, and then it was showing the bomb below nowhere. This is Esplanade. The bomb came down. Yeah. But it didn't landed in the Esplanade, and because it landed further out at Penang Street, and then a lot actually they bomb where Penang Road, Campbell Street, things like that. Yeah, I show you another one. This is also taken by the same pilot, Japanese pilot. To show where the bomb sites. Esplanade is still okay. You know why they didn't bomb Esplanade? They are coming in, so they need to keep all this like town hall, city hall in good condition. So they didn't target all the government buildings. They targeted this Chinatown area. Yeah, so you can see all this area lah. These are like Branging Road. Now it's called Jalan Dr. Lim Chui Leong, whatever. Then you have this CY Choi lah, Campbell Street lah, and then Penang Road. Yeah, this is Penang Road. A lot of bombs thrown there. Yeah. And also, on the seashore and the sea, these are the ships that bomb. Yeah. In fact, the first day they managed to sink 6 ships on the harbor of Penang. And some bombs also thrown to hit St. George's Anglican Church. And then also, don't know why, they also bombed the Protestant cemetery. So end up both end of the cemetery, all the tombs are missing. So this one continued for a few days. It was a terrible thing. People started to evacuate from Georgetown. Many moved to Ai Tam out of Georgetown. So this become a dead town. So it was a sad thing. So you go there, you can actually what happened is they put a projector. They are like Japanese bomber fly over the head, and the bomb came down. So they have this visual effect and then the bombings are pong, pong, pong. So it's a kind of place where you experience war. Yeah, bomb coming down to Georgetown. Houses were destroyed, baby crying, things like that. So this is how St. George's Church, after bomb, the roof all missing. Luckily, the building still not destroying in totally. Because so finally, Penang was surrendered to the Japanese. Very bad thing. The British ran away before the Japanese come in. And then you know what? The British, when they left quietly. They got the order from their headquarters in Singapore. Every British and European leave Penang, but don't tell the local people. Don't tell your servant. Just leave quietly. So they did it on the I think 16th of December. So suddenly, next morning, the bank manager, police, surgeon, the British people, all missing. So the whole town, no more government. Very bad. That's the first time the people in Penang felt they were betrayed by the British. How can they leave us to face the Japanese? So that's why this is something that we cannot forgive the British for leaving us to face the Japanese enemy. Yeah. I can read a lot there. There are some Japanese who stay here before. They also help to Penang to surrender faster because we want the Japanese stop bombing Penang. So finally, Japanese came 19th of December. From Kedah, they came in 2 boats and landed on 19th December, 4 p.m., yes. And then there's Kobayashi, it came. So it's a peaceful landing, lah. Like it or not, peaceful. But this is just only the beginning of nightmare. After that, or military government. This is a Katayama, very bad guy. He killed a lot of people. So the Japanese have this police called Kempeitai, military police, very strict. If you steal something, your head will be chopped off. So a lot of people killed because of suspected stealing or supporting the anti-Japanese activities. So thousands of people went missing. So this is one section. Yeah, you can take photo with the Kempeitai. Kind of on top of Dai Nippon Teikoku. Whether you like it or not, this is a reality that happened in the Second World War in Penang. People live in fear. You have to pay respect to the Japanese, whether you like it or not. And everyone was forced to learn Japanese. They got Nippongo. So then many small kids were forced to learn the Japanese song. You can hear the original military song that everyone in Penang was forced to learn, a military song. You keep running this music, military music in this room. Yeah? So you look at that. And there are also traitors and all. These are the two traitors you know what happened? They pointed out so-called the anti-Japanese people. And they pointed a lot of the victims from Chongling High School. It's a number one enemy to those who come from Chongling High School. They were actually Taiwanese. This Dr. Bu is from Taiwan, but those days Taiwanese they are Japanese citizens. Because Taiwan was occupied by Japanese a long time ago, so they all carry Japanese passport. So they came to Penang 1920s, set up their clinic. The clinic is at the corner of Armenian Street and Lebo Pantai. Just opposite there's the children on bicycle opposite. There's a building, right? That's where they run their clinic. But unfortunately, these detectives got a lot of secrets because people went there, fix their teeth and then accidentally leak out all the secrets. So he gathered all the information together with his wife, Madam Yap. And they found out, oh no, oh yeah, who that day who raised fund for the anti-Japanese, things like that. So the people, oh yeah, I saw this Mr. Lim, he was there donating $1,000, something like that. So he recorded all this, sent to Japan. So when the Japanese came, he cover his head with a bag or cloth and then dig two holes, and then when they identify people, oh, that guy, he was raising funds for the Chinese to fight Japanese. Or that one. Sometimes he did not like somebody, he just simply pointed out. So once you're pointed, you're dead already. Tempeh Tai will bring you up, you never come back. Yeah. There are at least about 5,000 people missing. Yeah. It is called Suk Ching. Suk Ching, a very terrible thing. People live in fear because these people came out and identified who were the bad guys. So once you pointed, you're guaranteed you're dead. Yeah. And then I also want to talk about this woman below. Her name is Rosalind. She was a comfort woman. So Japanese forced many women into prostitution. They say the only way to stop raping of the woman is to have prostitutes. So many women were kidnapped. And these women were kidnapped from Jelotong market. One day she went out. She got two kids at home. Though. She went out buying vegetables. Halfway through, the Japanese pulled her into a truck. The next thing, she was forced to be a prostitute in a hotel called Tong Lak. The building's still there at the corner of Burma Road and Jalan Zainal Abidin. It's a very old bungalow. It's still there. So she told people, after many years, because many women, they kept quiet because it's so shameful you become prostitute, So she stood up and said, I have to tell the whole world what I went through during the Second World War. Very brave woman, yeah. But there are hundreds of thousands of women in Korea, in China, in Southeast Asia. They're forced into prostitution by the Japanese. They call compliment. And finally, very sad, the American came and bombed Penang. 1941, we kena Japanese. 1945, the American came and bombed Penang. Don't forget, this is happening, no? So what happened? Because Penang was made into the Navy headquarters for the Japanese. So Americans sent a B-29. Hey, this aircraft also throw the atomic bomb in Nagasaki, Hiroshima. So they flew from India, it dropped tons of bomb in Penang, Georgetown. So today, look at that. This big building is our Penang state government building. No? So many bombs thrown by the American, almost all gone. Only one section left. Now it's Jabatan Islam. Only one small section left. But you look at it, it's very beautiful, right? But last time was such a big, beautiful building, no? All gone. Yeah. Another big thing, this in Xavier School. How Pin Xavier School look like? Look at the right-hand side. Yeah. It was so beautiful. It's a 3-story, Catholic missionary school. And the American throw the bomb. Finish. Gone. So all the beautiful buildings were actually destroyed by the American, not by the Japanese. So this one I had to put the history, the story correct. Who bombed Penang? Who destroyed the buildings? So we cannot forgive the Japanese and the Americans for destroying our buildings. Yeah. I have to get it finally, okay, Japanese is surrender after the American throw the atomic bomb. So it happened in September 1945. So a story there. So victory here. Okay, we welcome back the British, but we cannot forgive how they abandoned us. Yeah, in the beginning in 1941. They all left quietly. Yeah. So after that, independence. We joined Malaya. Last time we were under the Strait Settlements. So after we joined the Malaya, and then finally 1957, yeah, we become part of Malaya. Not Malaysia. Malaysia was formed 5 years later in 1963 together with Sabah, Sarawak, and Singapore. So you have to say clearly, is it Malaya or Malaysia? And people are very confused. What is Malaya? Oh, Malaya. Actually, there's a country called Malaya, when we get independence, but only on the western side, the peninsula. Malaysia is a new name, a new country formed by combining Sabah, Sarawak, and Singapore. Don't forget to mention Singapore. They were also part of Malaysia before. So after that, you can see a lot of posters behind, talking about progress. We have free trade zone in Bayan Lepas. Komta was out. First, the bridge also came out. So we move out. We move on. Yeah. And then the last place is the kampong, my kampong. They have a atap house at the kampong Orancina. So there are activities there. So this place in future will be used for activities. We can have students, teach them to make ketupat or we can have talks there. So they have invited us to go there to have activities in future. It's nice. Look like kampong is all aircon, very nice. And then the kampong house, they also can learn what is rumah atap. Why is it like that? You can learn the architecture. And this is kampong Orancina. So Chinese also stay in kampong area. So okay, so they have showed you Tok Pek Kong. All right, this is my last slide. Okay, 10 o'clock. 2 hours. Okay. Sorry, I cannot have break because so little. I think a lot of questions. I have no time to read. Okay, we open up for Q&A. Yeah, Q&A. Anybody want to ask questions? You're welcome.
Clement.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
I want to ask about the Bo Liang Kok that you mentioned earlier. The Bo Liang Kok. Is it the same Bo Liang Kok like currently still running in Hong Kong?
Yes, actually, Bo Liang Kok is of course started by the British it started in Hong Kong first. That's why the names is in Cantonese, Bo Liang Kok, yeah, to protect the woman, the good woman.
Is it still
department.
operated in Penang?
No more already Bo Liang Kok, no more, because very Chinese organ. Now no more. We don't have. We have a now. If women were facing violence, no, we don't have such place to protect the prostitutes, things like that, no more. But those who have facing the violence, like violence at home, the woman can go to these places where the woman will be protected. It's run by the Jabatan Kebajikan. Yes.
Clement,
Haha.
Vincent Fong here.
Yes, Vincent.
I want to check with you. Just now you mentioned that the buildings in Georgetown were also bombed by the Allied forces, the Americans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason why they bombed the buildings in Penang is because they were attacking the Japanese, right?
Of course, Penang.
They were fighting. That's
A
why
lot of cities also kena, but Penang was very bad.
So
they also bombed Singapore. But Singapore, they only bombed the small harbor at Sembawang area. And they also bombed Bangkok. Bangkok was one area also heavily bombed.
they bombed
And
all these
then
places.
Manila, Taiwan also bombed by the Americans, yes.
They were at war with the Japanese, right?
They were at war with the Japanese.
But they bombed
Penang is already part of Japanese territory.
Yeah.
Japanese occupied the whole Southeast Asia. So the Americans were fighting against the Japanese in Pacific Islands. Very heavy, fighting all the small islands. And
So,
they started to bomb Okinawa. Yeah.
so if
Okinawa was...
So if Japanese did not occupy Penang, they wouldn't have bombed Penang, right?
The question is not whether we occupy then have to bomb, but that kind of bombing is, I think, totally unnecessary.
Oh,
yeah. And the British were also surprised why the American targeted such kind of buildings. Because you know why? In 1945, the British knew that the Japanese are losing the war. So there's no necessity to bomb so many important buildings to the British. The British were not aware. So when they came back, they also feel very sorry for what happened to Penang. The British would not carry out this kind of bombing. It was all done by the Americans.
So am I right to say that the Americans bombed Penang before the Japanese surrendered?
Yeah, of course. If they surrendered, they would not bomb Penang with you.
Okay.
Just like why they throw the atomic bomb, because they say, oh, Japanese will never surrender. Let's drop the atomic bomb. Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
Okay, thank you.
Clement, I want to ask a thing. The museum, you keep saying the stairs to go up to the third floor and come down again. Do they have accessibility?
For the handicapped people, sorry, at the moment, no, not yet.
No,
Will be the next step. Yeah, it's actually, it's a, last time I think it's a bank building, only 2-story, going up the stairs and come down, but it's not very steep. It's still manageable.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Who owns this building? This gallery?
Okay, this is it's a group, actually the same group of people, they run this ghost museum, magic museum. Yeah, the same group of people. But they are young people, but they were employees. And then there are also few shareholders, including what I heard is that, of course, this building is owned by the Prudential Gold, that guy. That's why he came up with the gold museum first. But that one didn't work out. But he still run the Prudential Gold the business. So it's also I heard it's a shareholder also.
Clement, SK here.
Yes, SK.
Can you go back to the slide about the 9 British monarchs who ruled Penang?
Clement.
Okay, Clement, look at this one here. The 9 British monarchs who ruled Penang. The last one in QE2. She could not have ruled to 2022 because we got in.
No, I'm talking the lifespan. She lived until 2022, but 1957. No, for 1952, she was our queen until 1957. Yeah.
Yes.
So these years are indicating their life. their
That's
lifespan. Like,
that's
for
what the
example,
thing.
King George III,
Stop hitting
she
that.
was
Should
born in
change the
1760, but she only ruled Penang 1786. So this is their life when they died.
I know, but
But of course, we know that we already become
I
independence in
know, but your title,
1957.
But
Clement,
Clement, the
your
title
title,
is
your title puts
misleading
rule, which is not right.
because you put in who ruled Penang ma. But eventually
Oh
we
yeah, okay,
already
sure.
get independent in 1957 ma. We know it's
Yeah,
a lifespan. The one in the bracket we know is the lifespan of each
lifespan,
king
yeah,
of
true.
thing. Yeah. So probably you might need to change the wording lah. Wording. Just the wording only.
Yeah, lah, true.
Oh,
Puru and their lifespan
yeah,
maybe like that.
yeah. Thank you,
Of
huh?
course, should be 1786 until 1957 lah. So we were under the British rule, except the 3 years, 4 months we were under the Japanese rule lah. Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. Some
King
amendment lah.
George the Sixth. So there'll be 3 years, almost 4 years that the British were not our ruler. We were under the Japanese control. So I should add maybe Emperor Hirohito as our one of the monarchs who run Penang. Yeah, we have a Japanese
Yeah,
emperor
that will
also.
be good. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
should
true.
be good lah.
So we have 10 monarchs. 9 of them were British, 1 were Japanese. Yeah. Not easy, this king.
Now, Clement.
Let's pay for feedback.
Yeah.
Clement.
Yes.
Hello, Clement. Can you?
Yeah, Glenn, okay, we can hear you.
Clement, can you hear me?
Yes. Loud and clear.
To the bombing of Penang, if I'm not wrong, the Allied forces, together with the Americans, they bombed Penang. The reason for bombing Penang is to prevent the Japanese from using Penang Harbor, because the Japanese need to bring in their reinforcements, supplies, and all that. So that bombing is to disrupt them, because also is a submarine base. That is the bombing to disrupt everything. If I'm not wrong on that basis, the reason.
Of course, this is how American reason it lah.
Yeah,
we have to destroy so Japanese cannot stay on.
Yeah, from articles I read, it's all about bombing, to prevent Japanese from using the island, things like that. My second question is, I saw the display in the museum, a photo of Captain Francis Light. If I'm not wrong again, there is no photo record of Captain Francis Light. And even for the statue that were cast in bronze, actually is the son, an image of his son, William Light. So how did the museum get a photo of Francis Light?
No, there's never, see, all these pictures are simulation. So from the statue, from the sun. So that's why they are AI synthesized photos. But you know why we need to have this kind of image? Give people, an idea, the person. Otherwise, Kevin, how do you say? We don't know. You have a Tunku Rahman, you don't know the photo. You must show the photos, the people, the impression. So it's not really say we have the exact pictures or these things like that. But even this Tengku Sheikh I did, nobody had this photo. No. But from description, this is how it should look like.
Just
Same
like
in
the
China.
photo of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, nobody has seen Jesus before, but we always see his images, photos everywhere. Everywhere, because we need image to associate the name with in that kind of identity. So there is just we cannot have photos, even like China's, all the emperors. Have everybody seen Laksamana Cheng Ho? Never. But we always have him in pictures, how he should look like, maybe the way he dressed. So photos are representation, but no actual pictures. Yeah.
Well, it'd be good if they put in the caption that this is just a simulation. If not,
all
there'll be
photos are
just,
simulation.
if their guys were code, and this is what Captain Francis Light would have looked like.
I think we should use our wisdom to interpret. They say, oh, sorry, this is not picture of Francis. Oh, sorry, there's not picture of Han Tua. It's like, people, and that no, Cheng Ho should not look like that, but we do not know. Yeah. So this is a photo representation. Yeah, to have a and how that person could be looking like. Yeah. Otherwise, Jesus Christ, we never have pictures until now. Yeah. So it's same for the Buddha. So many images, but have everybody seen the real Buddha face? Nobody. But you see statues all over the world. So
Clement,
sometimes yeah,
sorry,
authenticity is the one thing that we cannot have all the time. Authenticity, yes.
Clement, can you hear me?
Oh yes, yes, Lawrence, yes.
Yeah, I just wonder if you have visited the mini museum in Saint Xavier Institution.
Oh, the one, yes, the what called the ex school this alumni, yes.
Yeah. I think it's quite well done, especially the Hall of Fame. I think a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah, there's a big
yeah, I
pictures and
believe a lot of tour guides did not realize about the existence of this mini gallery.
yeah, but unfortunately
Quite
only
well
open
done.
on Sunday morning, too short, 10
Yeah,
o'clock to 1 p.m., too short.
yeah.
And weekdays not open. So end up very hard unless you happen to be on Sunday morning, you can bring. I hope you all know there's a site kind of like a school museum in St. Xavier School. So every Sunday morning, 10 to 1, you can go in. Other time, if you want to go in, you have to pay and also do special appointment. Yeah, it's talking about the alumni of this St. Xavier School and how the LaSalle brothers started the whole school there. Yeah. And Jake, that trail I try to promote as part of the French Heritage Trail. The Catholic Church, St. Xavier School, Convent Light Street. And I hope one day Convent Light Street will open for visitors to go in. So they will take some time. Yeah. And the whole stretch is all French influence. Yeah.
Hello, Clement. I'm Law here.
Yes.
I just want to ask,
Yes.
this Manika Soti, is he that guy who took down the Union Jack at the lighthouse?
Yeah, okay. He didn't climb out, but he had the one assistant, Spielberg, who went up to take it down. But he was the decision maker. At that time, there are four racial groups: Malay, Chinese, Indian, and Eurasians. Came together because the British have left. Nobody controlled the city, so he was the one to have meeting. Let's do something. Let's unite together. Let's control the rules, things like that. And the first thing, get down the Union Jack. The British have left us, defend us. So take down Union Jack, so that the Japanese will know that the city is no longer no longer controlled by the British. So he was the one, who made a lot of decisions when the British left us defenseless.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But by the way, I also want to talk about, yeah.
May I
Okay, go
know?
ahead.
May I know that if currently if we tour guide go to this museum, do we need to pay, or if we are bringing some guests, or do they just tour guide?
I've talked to the operator. As long as you wear a badge, you can go in. Of course, free lah. But we also prefer you. Of course, you don't go in one day 10 times like that. You go in if you want to learn something. You're on your own. The best if you have tourists, you bring them. This is what I heard lah. Uh, okay, just keep to ourselves lah. The incentive is something like 20 ringgit per pax, something like that. I need to
Okay,
confirm
thank you.
later. Yeah. Yeah, 20 ringgit. So anyway, this Saturday they have a soft opening, and actually 2 o'clock is official. They invite us YB Wong Hon Wai going there. So let's say if you're free, like around 5 p.m., they'll open until 8 p.m. So let's say tour guides to like this evening, those who attend, you're interested, you can come around 5 p.m. or between 5 to 8 p.m. and go and have a look, and then read out all the things that inside this museum. Yeah, all are welcome. Yeah.
Clement, can you describe the location again?
It's public bank at this Bishop Street. Public bank. Bishop Street is just opposite the St. George's Anglican Church lah. And just next, very close to the beginning of the road lah. They will put up the sign already lah. I think tomorrow
it's
the sign will come out.
next to the Friendship Hostel, is it?
AIA. Last time AIA.
AIA changed name already lah. I think they
Yeah lah,
take away
opposite
the
lah,
name.
opposite.
I don't know what his name is.
Very quickly,
Last time AIA, true.
something off topic. What happened to our State Museum? When are they going to reopen? Do you have any news?
I cannot comment on that, sorry. I cannot. I know what happened, but I cannot comment here, sorry. It's not mine also, I cannot tell too much. When it happened, it will happen. Anyway, we have private museum, we bring the tourists there, we get our incentive. Isn't it better? All right, here we are not here to...
All right, I think we should allow last question because the time is 2 minutes over the time. So we allow last question only. Last question. And then before that, please don't go away. Please stop first. Listen to me. Please don't leave the room yet. Turn on your video after your last question.
Oh yes, we need to take a group photo.
Okay, last question, please.
Clement, I'd like to ask you about the grand jetty, chill jetty. You say one, they are not a fisherman jetty. Am I right? Because
they are not a fisherman. No.
I understand that they are fisherman jetty also because I was born there. And then my grandfather also has a fishing boat over there, and then my father also a fisherman over there. So I was born there at Chill Jetty, so I know a lot of Chill Jetty about that.
But you're Wong, how come you stay there?
No, my mother stay there. So
majority are not men. Majority are not fishermen.
Yeah, they are not majority, but part of them also.
So because you know what happened? 1969 we lost our free port status, so many of them became unemployed.
I understand that BD's butter trade port also. Why they
butter trade?
Butter trade. They take all the good and exchange, like they carry the good, the ship from the Cambodia, then they exchange oil or sugar or the rice, go back to their country. So one of the Chill Jetty is a very busy butter trade port also.
I would call it smuggling center also because they don't pay tax through this barter system. Those days, from Myanmar, those are called Burma and Thailand, they brought in their salted fish come here, and then they buy like second-hand computer or motorbikes, so this is about the trade without involving any cash. So because no cash, then no need to pay tax. But the government was very concerned because besides all these barang-barang, also including drugs. A lot of drugs were brought in.